Good morning, good evening, good everything. Depends where you are in the world. My name is Chrysalis and welcome back to my podcast, Searching for Myself, Season 2, baby. Woo! Yeah, that's just me shouting because we don't have a live audience. But guys, I've missed you. Honestly, 2025 was incredible. We've had amazing time, amazing guests, and I appreciate the love and support. But now we're back, season 2. We're better than ever. And I'm obviously not just here by myself. I know you're looking at me and thinking how beautiful I am as a creature. Yes, we thank God. But really, I have someone else with me. The multifaceted, talented, amazing, incredible. Oh, to name a few words. Bukky the Great. Woo! Right, did we just harmonize low key? I'm not sure whether we did or not, but low key, whether it was a key or not, musicians. Bukky, how are you, friends?
I'm good, thank you. Such a great honor to be here.
I'm honored to be here. Listen, Linda, I was like, listen, when we were, so the topic today is mental health,
Mm,
counselling, and
mm-hmm.
actually all things personal growth, but
Yes,
mostly psychology.
yes.
And I thought, who could I actually invite to the podcast who has a level of expertise that we could all use and just benefit and learn from? And Bukky being so incredible, when I reached out to her, she offered her services to
Yes.
actually feed the people them for free this time. But she is amazing. But before we actually get into it, I got an icebreaker.
Certainly, let's go for
Cool.
it.
I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions and I call it like a this or that situation. So
Okay.
like, okay, so it's just like a little fun, just a little fun. So firstly, first question is, what type of person are you? Are you a early bird person or a night owl? So do you prefer the morning or the night,
Oh,
and why?
early or I think I'm a night owl.
Oh,
I
okay.
think because routine wise, I think because of the work I do,
Mm,
I get to then process and, reflect on the work that I've done. And
mm.
that then affects, the timing that I go to bed sometimes.
Listen, trust me, I understand that for
But
sure.
yeah, but I'm also trying to work towards being a morning person as
Mm,
well.
okay,
But
that's
yeah,
great.
night owl.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
really completely opposite. I get so moody in the night. I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah,
Like I'm a morning person. Naturally, get up for like at 5 in the for 4:30 or so, by the
yeah,
grace of God. But yeah, at night I'm in bed by like 8:39. Like
yeah.
I get
Lord,
so tired and cranky afterwards. I'm just like, oh, I'm a granddad. I need my sleep.
yeah. Lord
But
is
yeah,
helping me.
honestly, he's helping all of us. Okay, let's talk about personality in terms of communication. So,
Mm-hmm.
are you the type to send a voice note, or would you prefer to type?
Mm. I prefer calls.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, of course,
literally
yeah.
calls, voice notes. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
How come?
Because I feel like it's always good to just hear the other person's voice and kind of
Mm.
listen and connect in that way rather than just texting. I think sometimes text can be misconstrued.
1,000%.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Mm,
So I like to speak to the person or do a voice note so it's clear
for
and
sure.
I know what I'm saying. They hear what I say.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And all of that. So yeah, calls, voice note. That's my thing.
Awesome. And the last question is, are you the type to write down like a list of things to do, or will you just wing it and go by memory?
Oh, I'm both actually.
Really?
Yes.
How so?
So I like to write things down in order to remember them. I love
Mm,
quotes, messages, just helps my memory as well. Things to remember. And then there are things that I can just do because I'm like, I gotta do it.
yeah, no, for sure. I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. Okay, awesome. Well, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, the podcast segment today is mental health and counseling. So, obviously, we got Bukky here because she's fantastic, and I want us to know about her profession. So, Bukky, tell me about your amazing self, your
Okay.
profession.
So as Chris has lovely introduced me,
Come on.
I'm Bukky. I'm a integrative psychotherapist. I've been
Mm,
doing this now for 4.5 years,
wow.
thereabout. But in terms of getting here, it has been a journey
Mm,
ultimately in
mm,
regards to just being able to do different courses. Kind of started from education first and foremost,
mm.
did like a level 2, then did a master's, and then, got accredited, no, registered,
Okay.
pardon me, got registered as part of the BACP,
Nice.
British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy,
Nice,
in
nice.
order to now be fully ethical in practice and all of that with working with clients. So
Wow,
it's
wow,
been a journey.
wow. Gosh, so in what's your understanding in regards to mental health? How would you explain it to those who do not who kind of lack knowledge within that area, especially when it comes to different generations? Because I remember one time randomly I was at a hospital getting a checkup,
Mm.
and me and this lady who was helping me, she was just we were just talking whilst I was going for an x-ray, and she was just like, oh, you know, your generation when it comes to the mental health, it's all a bunch of nonsense, you know. There's some, how can someone say that they're burnt out, they're just lazy and don't want to do it and this and the other, and I'm like,
Mm.
rah, like
Wow.
you're just interesting human being. But
Mm.
our generation or the generation below her, because she was probably in her 60s or so,
Mm.
they take mental health more seriously. So what's your understanding, according to you, what
Mm.
is mental health and how would you define it?
Mental health is your whole being.
Mm,
Literally, it's part and parcel of everything that you do in terms of your social, psychological, emotional well being. It's
mm,
all encompassing to how we show up on our day to day, our functionality, how we do things, our behavior, our attitudes to things. So
yeah.
it's not one thing, it's a holistic experience in terms of who we are and who we become
Mm,
ultimately.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now that's fantastic. And for those who are not aware of counselling,
Mm-hmm.
what does counselling mean to you? What is counselling and how does it improve or benefit someone's mental health? What's the situation? Educate
Okay.
us.
So with counseling, it is very much whereby you are able to speak to a professional ultimately, and it's about speaking to them about any problems, any issues. This could be stress, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be relationship, it could be loss, it could be navigating a life transition. And you have a professional who is there to listen, but also guide you to navigate that experience in an informed way.
Mm, that's fantastic. What typically happens during a session for those who are kind of nervous about participating in psychology, because psychology counseling, apologies,
That's
because
okay.
some people when they back in the day when someone says they're in um therapy, whatever, people think, oh my gosh, that's a, you know what I mean? But
Mm,
now people kind of feel empowered to take therapy because it's a healthy way of releasing stress and
yeah.
talking to someone. So typically, what does each session involve? How do you get to know the person, the client? How do you guide them? What level of psychology do you use? Is it CBT or is it psychodynamic theory? What kind
Mm.
of guides your practice?
Okay, so for me, I'm a integrative psychotherapist.
Nice.
So I studied psychodynamic counseling, and then the work
Mm,
I do is also solution focused. So
mm,
that's what makes it integrated because I can use both expertise of my skills
mm,
in order to support my clients ultimately to get what they need. And
mm,
so in getting to know what the client needs, there's always what we call an initial assessment.
mm,
That initial assessment is to find out what's going on for the client, what their challenges are, how long it's been, because for some people it might have been ongoing for many, many years. For some people, it might be a few weeks, a few months ultimately. And so we get all this information to kind of be able to know, okay, what is the degree to how long this has been an issue or problem for? And then we then look in regards to what is it that they're looking for in terms of an outcome
mm,
ultimately. So it's a collaboration that you're working with that client in terms of one, getting to know them,
mm.
listening to what their need is, and listening to what it is they want by the time of the therapy is
Nice.
over so that it's informed
Mm,
towards what they need. It's
mm,
about them
mm.
ultimately.
That's fantastic. What is the common myths of um, therapy and counselling? And yeah, what are the common myths? And each session, how do you ensure that clients feel safe within practice and what you say to them remains confidential and it stays within those four walls?
Okay, so common myth is that it's a quick fix.
Mm,
Counseling is not a quick fix.
okay.
I'm saying that so low,
Uh,
but I'll say it higher.
sing.
Counseling is not a quick fix. It's a journey.
Yes.
Because you are unpacking lots of different things.
Mm.
There are things that will come on that journey whereby you're like, oh, I didn't know that this, you have your aha moment, if anything,
Mm.
like my Oprah Winfrey.
Not
I love her.
Oprah. Shout out to
Like,
Oprah.
yes, literally, whereby it's like, wow, okay, that's the reason why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So it's not a quick fix. You're not being advised as well.
Mm.
You're exploring what your choices are going to be by the
Yes.
end ultimately. So it's an exploration and a collaboration in regards to the client being able to make their own informed decision
Mm.
about what they're experiencing or noticing the patterns
Mm.
towards being able to make a change.
Nice. That's beautiful to hear because I know that in the past, I remember when CBT came out and how the NHS was firstly introducing it for people to do cognitive behavioural therapy. That's what it stands for, people.
Yes.
To be a trainee with NHS.
Mhm.
And some psychologists who were trained in psychology felt that it was kind of a fast track to try and speed people up to be to assistance with help. But other psychologists were kind of against it because they felt that it's kind of for low, not low mood, but like, sorry, you gonna say sorry?
No, go ahead.
Like kind of like um uh anxiety or depression or not, I don't want to be patronizing or rude, but those who, because it's everything I was saying, that it's in the spectrum. So those who do experience anxiety and depression, but not to a point where it's, oh, I think the word is deliberated in terms of really affecting their life, if that sense. But obviously it does affect their life, but not to the grand extreme of someone who's really going, but all of it is effective of their life. So yeah, what do you think of, like, in terms of that, in terms of CBT versus psychodynamic theory also, or do you feel like they're one level?
So, in terms of CBT, within the work I do, there's a mixture. So, you've got your high intensity CBT and you've got your low intervention CBT. And there's like a silver cloud model, which is
Nice.
like a program whereby clients can be able to like work through that process, but also have access to this. Like, so I'll give an example. So, a CBT silver cloud program for anxiety, and
Nice,
they work
nice.
through that with a particular counselor, but it's through a portal.
Oh,
Ultimately,
nice.
they get a check-in for the 6 weeks, and then they have this program for a whole year that they can always go back, or even maybe forever, possibly, that they can always go back to. But there's also such high intensity CBT whereby it's one-on-one
Oh, nice.
session as well. But in terms of the part of psychodynamic as well, is whereby it's integrative and it's whereby there's more exploration.
Okay.
So a variation of the two is always beautiful,
Yeah.
ultimately, because there are clients who just want to be able to like go through that CBT process and they're good. So it's an option ultimately. Or there are clients who want to go through the exploratory part of being able to talk one on one and, be heard and have that one on one with a response and explore things without having to it be through a program process. So I think
Yeah.
both, if anything, has its impact and its effect depending on what that client needs. So when, for example, I'm doing a clinical assessment, I'm listening and I'm paying attention to what is this client communicating that their need is in order to put them forward for the right therapy, whether that will be more CBT or more the exploratory of, a one-to-one session with a counselor.
That's fantastic. I've always wondered, probably out of pure ignorance, but like when it comes to like psychologists, who, you guys have supervision as well, isn't it?
Yes,
So
we
do you guys have to do intense therapy before starting, your own kind of practice, or is it a situation like
That's
who,
good,
it's
good.
like,
So when I was doing my master's, it was very mandatory
okay.
that I would be in therapy as well, which I'm thankful for, honestly, because I feel it's helped me with the work that I do as well to make sure that with being able to give the best to my clients,
Yeah.
that I'm also doing my own work and I'm not connecting my clients' matters as mine and being able to separate that ultimately. And also in terms of the work as well, it's important to have supervision so that you're
Yeah.
also ethical within the work as well. So your supervisor is also there to make sure that you are following processes as they should be, the duty of care also for the client, but also duty of care for you if there's anything that the client is sharing that may also be triggering or impacting you, or just also knowing how to like navigate particular subject matters and explore that with your client, so that by the time the sessions are completed, the client gets what they need, but also that you are also supported adequately through that process of working with a client as well.
That's actually fantastic. And obviously, for confidentiality reasons, I don't want you to go in too much in depth. But is there any cases or even case law or anything that you've read in the past that you felt like, wow, that's a lot to take in as a trainee psychologist or even psychologist but as yourself, you know?
So as a psychotherapist,
Psychotherapist, apologies.
it's
Yes,
okay.
come on, like get the title right.
As a psychotherapist, I
Yeah.
think there's like been a variety of matters that can be very hard to hear.
Okay.
Ultimately, in terms of whether that be around loss or in regards to domestic violence
Yeah.
as well, and that can be difficult to hear that another person has been through such. But I think what helps me is one, continue professional development, support from my supervisors, going to therapy as
Yeah,
well, and
most
doing the
definitely.
inner work. So that's what's helped me in regards to when I've heard particular cases that are quite triggering and challenging to hear in terms of like loss. And loss is a variety. It
Yeah.
might be in regards to like a miscarriage. It could be in regards to suicide. It could be in regards to someone who's passed away from cancer. Domestic violence could be in regards to relationship or in terms of something early years in regards to someone being harmed in terms of sexual assault or in regards to physical harm. So it varies ultimately.
That's fantastic. How do you ensure that, when you're opening up, I would say, a can of worms when it comes to sensitive, triggering subject matters like that? How do you ensure that the client, in terms of, remains within that safe space in terms of when they tell it to you? How do you navigate their emotions to make them feel a sense of peace and healing, that it's an ongoing journey rather than like, okay, this happened to you when you're younger, see you next time. Do you know what I mean? Like, because there's like a range of emotions that you're opening up, a flood of emotions. So how do you ensure that they're kind of like encouraged to stay on their path of discovery and self-healing
Well,
during this session?
it's acknowledging
Okay.
the journey
Yeah.
that they're on. It's acknowledging in regards to why this is important for them, but also in regards to self-care is really key ultimately. So if after the session, being able to take the moment they need to pause and journal or go outside for a walk or do a particular activity of maybe mindfulness or meditation, because you're sharing really big things
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah.
And that's why I said earlier that counseling is not a quick fix. It's a journey ultimately. And the other thing as well is that we're going at the client's pace. We're not rushing, we're not jumping, this is not just come and tell me, yeah. It's not like that. It's like, okay, what would you like to share today? What would you like to talk about today? It's where are you at today in regards to what you want to bring into the session that you feel like has been on your mind, or that's part of this process of self-discovery, personal growth, healing, or breaking patterns that you don't want anymore in your life.
Yeah, that's great. And for those who feel like psychology counseling could be quite expensive, is there do you know any discounts for people who may
Okay,
be
so
experiencing financial loss
in terms
or difficulty?
of
Apologies.
the organization I'm with, for example, it's an EAP. And so most organizations, a variety of them would have an EAP, which stands for Employee Assistance Program. So I would always encourage a client or even a friend or family member or anyone, if anything, like find out if your organization has a EAP ultimately, because then sometimes what they can offer is maybe a set of sessions. It could be 4, it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 10. All right. So, and you're not paying for those sessions. That's something that your employer has decided to put forward as part of maybe their package or benefit for the employee to have, and there might be some other things in regards to, even if that's not available, it might be something such as telephone support, so the client can call and just have that support to speak to a neutral body, which would be a counselor,
Yeah.
well-being support, to be able to talk about what's going for them, and they can be guided. Under the NHS, we know that the NHS is going through it.
Unfortunately,
You know,
praise for the
they're
NHS.
doing a lot,
They are.
but they're going through it in this moment in time.
Mm.
So they as well can also guide with getting free therapy. However, I'm fully aware that there is a waiting list,
Yeah,
and so this is why I say go to your EAP. There also, I think there's a organization called Mindler. If anything, I think they can offer some free therapy as well. There's an organization, I think it's called Tega, TEGA as well. They offer some therapy as well, and there might be some affordability in regards to managing that. There's my service, Therapy with Books,
Yes,
as well, that
plug
you could
in.
also speak to, and we can also explain in regards to, offering affordable therapy depending on what your needs are.
Oh, fantastic. No, I love that. Plug yourself in again. Where can the
Therapy
people
with
find
Books.
you? Yes, yes, yes. Are you able to, is it a booking bulk sessions, or is it just come as,
Okay,
what's the situation?
so the process is we would always do a 50 minutes consultation. So
Nice.
find out what's going on, find out if I am the right therapist
I
for
love
you
that.
as well,
I
because
actually
that's
love
really
that.
important. And it's all about integrity.
Yes.
All about integrity. So
Whew.
if I'm not the right therapist, I'm going to guide and literally signpost ultimately, because that's key. I'm dealing with human life. And so that cannot be taken for granted in any shape, way, or form.
Yes.
And so it would always be a 50-minute consultation, find out what you're looking for, talk about, okay, we can do a block of 6 sessions. Ultimately, after the 6 sessions, it might be, okay, that's good. It might be actually you want to do long-term therapy, and long-term therapy can be a year or longer. So it just depends on what the need is.
Oh, fantastic. No, I love that. And you're available, is it via
So I'm available via Instagram. You can go on my website, therapywithbuks.co.uk. Instagram, Therapy with Books. LinkedIn, Bukky Odemi. Substack, Bukky Odemi, Therapy with Books. So
love that.
literally, I'm writing as well. So
Come on. And your sessions, they are face to face, or are they?
So sessions are remote. They're 50 minutes. So it would always be literally close to an hour session. So you have that time, which is literally all about you, what you want to bring into the session, and what you would like to explore as well.
That's fantastic. Honestly, I wish that more people actually, do you feel like people of okay. Let's get into it.
Go for it.
What's your thoughts in terms of, because back in the day, when we're thinking of people of color, they wouldn't necessarily go for therapy. They would go to different kind of activities or this and the other, which is perfectly fine. But do you feel like, from your expertise, do you feel like more people of color are now accessing therapy because they feel like they're more comfortable, and there's a less of a reduce of stigma in terms of seeking kind of alternative help in therapy, if that makes sense?
I think we're breaking the mold.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
We're breaking the mold. There's still a bit of silencing that happens in regards to this statement. Don't spread your dirty linen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Don't put your dirty, air out your dirty laundry.
Yes,
yeah,
kind of thing, right? Yeah. But the thing here is, when you're coming to counseling, it is professional, it is confidential, and it's safe.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be that, nothing more than that. If it is anything more than that, that's where, there's the whole ethical body that, that person is accountable to and can be reported to in terms of the BACP and other organizational bodies. So we're breaking the mold.
Yeah.
It is still something that is ongoing in terms of culture, whether that be in regards to like the ethnic minorities having to navigate, making that bold step up, saying, actually, this is something I need help with. It's not, I need to go and necessarily speak to my pastor. I need to speak to a professional who is informed. A pastor can support as well. But in terms of the skill set as well, it's also the understanding of, okay, what is this particular issue or challenge? There are pastors who have also done like counseling skills, so that's helpful in order to kind of help them navigate challenges or things that a congregational member is bringing to that session with them ultimately. but it's still a process we're navigating as a people, because there's still this thing of keep quiet,
Yeah.
manage it,
Yeah.
it will go eventually.
Mm.
But sometimes you just need to talk.
Mm.
And I believe, that healing has been part of talking for me. And I feel like it's the same thing that this work is about, in terms of letting people know that their voice matters,
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
it's okay to be heard and seen,
Mm.
and not to feel like you have to continuously silence yourself.
Facts.
And so I think we're breaking the mold, in order to be able to make people feel like, you're not alone on this journey, whether
Yeah.
it is stress you're navigating, relationships you're navigating, divorce, life transitions, work being a big, massive thing in the work that I
Lord.
do, navigating work and
Mm.
all the things that comes with work,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
anything, whether the people or, people are navigating redundancies or restructure. And so sometimes people feel like I should be strong enough to manage it, but you're human,
Yeah.
right? And because you're human, you can break. And sometimes what you need to be able to navigate those matters is a top up, ultimately. And that may just be about speaking to someone who is ready to listen and hear you and guide you,
Yeah.
ultimately. So, yeah.
Wow, that's a powerful statement. I have no more, no more other questions. So wow, that was fantastic. Honestly, it definitely encourages me myself, because I want to go to therapy. I want to start it. Been saying that for a few years, if I'm honest. But I'm always like, I'm so scared when I'm going to be vulnerable to a stranger. Number one, and number two, paying this money, and they're like, you know, well, what do you think? And I'm like, I'm paying you. I want you to tell me the answer. What do you mean? But yeah, no, I've always wanted to.
I think it's beautiful
Yeah.
that you want to, because it's a personal investment,
Yeah.
is what I call it. It's a personal investment, and no investment you ever make in yourself as a person, as a being, would ever be for nothing. There will always be an outcome. There will always be a result, if anything, from the investment you make. You just have to believe that this investment I'm making is what the wow.
Wow, yeah.
Ultimately. And I think with the feeling of feeling nervous that you're speaking to a stranger,
Yeah.
that's normal.
Oh, that's good.
That is a real thing. We all get nervous. You come into a room, oh my, I don't know. But you bring yourself into that space.
Yeah.
And if you're open to the experience, then you can get what you need from that experience, ultimately, which is a place that wants to see you grow,
Yeah.
a place that wants to see you evolve. And the fact that that person, the professional, the counselor,
Yeah.
is literally all about you,
Yeah.
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I love that. Oh my gosh. On that note, now, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast
No,
and talking about
thank
this
you.
beautiful subject, because I think people need to hear it, and there's no shame of getting help and going to therapy. And it's not even just help, to be honest. It's just very self-development, growth, personal growth, and just acknowledging feelings that may be in the subconscious, unconscious mind.
Yes.
Just bringing them up and just getting healing from it, and breaking, I always say, generational curses and
Yes.
generational trauma.
Yes, most definitely, which
Yeah.
is really important, so that we don't carry that to the next generation. We don't carry that to our children.
Come on.
We call it a day and say, this is done.
Yeah.
No more. It ain't going with me. It's done
Amen.
here. We ain't carrying.
Amen. Get me started. Jesus' name. But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on to this beautiful podcast.
I'm
And
so
guys,
grateful.
before you go, remember to follow our girl at Plug Yourself In again.
Yes, therapywithbuks,
Yeah.
.co.uk. You can also find me on Instagram at therapywithbuks, Substack as well, therapywithbuks, Bukky Bless Love as well, on YouTube as well. So
Yes.
literally everything.
Awesome. And yeah, no, that's fantastic. You can follow me at Searching For Myself Podcast on Instagram as well as TikTok. And yeah, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Welcome
Yes.
back. Thank you so much for watching this episode with Bukky the Great.
Thank you.
Woo! See you next time.